Hello everyone, welcome to another BrickSide Chat. This is episode 21 this week, and I'm back. It's been like 4 weeks since I've done one of these. Paul did one, Kyle did one, and then we skipped a week somewhere in there. But I'm finally back answering you guys' questions, which I'm super excited about. I really like this series, but if you're new to the channel, this is a series where every Sunday, or most every Sunday, we take your guys' questions and we answer them. And for the past, it's been specifically BrickLink related stuff, but I want to open it up and put it on the table. It can be anything Lego related or anything about the channel or anything. It doesn't necessarily need to be BrickLink specific. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments below, and we'll try to answer them next week on episode 22 of BrickSide Chat. Getting into the questions this week, though, the first one here is from David West, who says, when you decide to part out a set, are you more focused on overall profit in dollars or profit percentage? And that is a super easy answer for us. Profit percentage, 100%. That is the only thing we look at. The dollars don't matter. Let me explain why. Let's say we were taking a set. Let's say the UCS Millennium Falcon set. You buy it retail for $800. If you get it on sale at somewhere, amazing. But we're going to use $800 as what you purchased it for. We won't count tax or anything. We're going to say, for example, it parts out for $1,200. I think that is roughly what it parts out for, but we'll say $1,200. That's a $400 profit. And when you say, that's $400 extra dollars I'm making, it does sound really good. But when you actually think about it, that's only a 1.5 times part out price, or a 50% increase in the amount of money you put into that set, if every single piece sells. In addition to that, you have to think about all the time that these 7,500 pieces in that set are going to take to part out. So generally, the piece count correlates with the price, and for us at least, the piece count generally correlates with the difficulty of parting out sets. For the most part, it varies a little bit there, but that's why we look at the profit percentage. If it is a 3 times part out value, we don't even look at the profit in dollars necessarily. We just say, okay, it's at 3 times the price, let's get it. Or it's at 6 times the price, perfect, let's get it. And that's what determines what we purchase and stuff. We don't look at the overall profit in dollars at all. It doesn't really matter, because if it's a small dollar amount, or if it's a really big dollar amount, but it's going to take us 6 days to part out a set over the course of 40 hours, it's not really worth it, most likely, to only have a $400 increase in that value of that set. Hopefully that made sense, but profit percentage, 100% all the time. Next 2 questions are from AKA Turbo7, who hasn't asked questions in a few weeks, but welcome back. First question is, how are the average sales averaged by each individual piece sold for this 6-month period, or the price one person paid per store regardless of how many they bought in the store? And the answer to this is there are actually 2 6-month sales average on BrickLink. There is the 6-month sales average, and then there's the 6-month sales average by quantity. And those generally change, because if someone's buying one piece and they pay $1 for it, but when you buy a ton of them, they only cost 75 cents each. There is a quantity 6-month sales average that is a little bit lower generally. It depends, but usually it's a little bit lower from my experience, at least, depending on the part. So there are 2 numbers you can look at when you're looking at the last 6-month sales average for specific pieces. For sets, and this kind of ties into his next question, there are 2 values. There's the 6-month sales average for that set, or for what the part out value might be, and then there's also the current 6-month sale. So his, not 6 months, the current value of that set part out. So his next question is, when finding out the part out value, I get 2 values, average 6-month sales and current items for sale. Do you ever pay attention to the current items for sale average when looking to part out sets? How do those who have higher prices sell and make money? So yes, there are 2 values. There's the average 6-month sales, and that is based on what people have purchased. Usually that's not by quantity. That's just based on the piece itself. If it sells in any store at any quantity, whatever that price is, they're going to factor it into this massive, database of all that single part that has sold, and it's going to average it out over a 6-month period, and then figure out one price. What is the average price? The current items for sale takes every store that has that individual piece for sale, and it averages them all together for their price per piece. So that's why that one is so much higher, because certain people have a higher price. And you ask, how do those people who price their parts higher make money? Well, let's say, for example, I have a store, and we price our stuff at the 6-month sales average, but we only have 3,000 lots. That's close to where we're at now. Someone can come to our store and maybe get some of the parts they need, but they can't get everything. So they're going to pay shipping for this and pay shipping for another store. even though our prices are slightly lower, the shipping for both of these stores might add up. So now let's say they're going to go to another store that has 10,000 lots, and they can buy every single part there that they need. They only pay one shipping fee, even if the parts are slightly higher in price. So that's why the current items for sale can be a little bit higher, because the bigger stores generally list their parts a little more expensive, and they still get sales because of the ability to go to one store instead of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and have to pay the shipping costs to all those places. Now, other people make mistakes. You might mean to sell this part for $2 and you accidentally type in $21 or something, and now the average is going to go up. Other people just make this price skyrocket on purpose. It just depends what they're trying to do, or what their store is able to handle. You can also raise your prices for your store if you're getting too many orders. If you have too many and you can't keep up with it, you can raise your prices, which will slow down your orders, but technically you'll make more profit on each of those pieces. So that's an option, and that's some of the reasons that people have higher prices. Action Figure Films asks, how do you print the barcodes and drawer numbers on the sticky labels for your drawers? I have a video on the barcode system, which I'll put up here, which will show the Avery labels that we have. They are small little mailing labels. I'll also put a link to those in the description below, but we use just a laser printer and it prints onto those labels. But essentially I set up this little template. I think you can download a template on avery.com. If I find that, I'll put that in the description as well. But you can find a template, and you can print out on this template the numbers. And what I do is I manually go in, and I don't type every number, but I put it it's in a table, so I can click and drag and it'll fill in the whole sheet, and I can print out that sheet, redo the sheet, fill it in once more time, and then print it out. Avery also does have a barcode option on their website, I believe. We use a program called BC Studio, I believe it's called, just because we have that, and that works for us. But really, any barcode system you can find that you can scale to the labels that you're using, but Avery is a great resource for that. Next question here is Night40K. Do you close the store when adding inventory? Because if you are in the middle of parting out several sets, it would need to be put away and consolidated before you can pick any orders that you may receive during that part out process, correct? Now, there are certain stores that do close their store in the moment where they're adding parts. We've never done that, and I don't know if this one day could create a problem, but while we're physically parting out the sets, putting things in drawers, it shouldn't matter, because we're not in any software yet necessarily saying we're adding these parts to our store. So we're putting them in all the bins, and we should be okay, and nothing should change from when I'm parting stuff out physically until I go into the system and add stuff. Once we go in there and we scan all the barcodes, that does and should happen in one little setting. Now, I suppose technically, if I scan a barcode, or if we're inputting pieces, and we're in the process before we click the submit or verify items, before we click that, if someone places an order and we have to go pick that order, I think technically, yeah, if they bought all of our stuff in one thing, we would have a problem. But the truth is, what we should be able to do is still take whatever, because that sheet should be accurate. Sorry, I'm pointing to that. That's where we upload the parts. That should be accurate in terms of where the drawer has been located at some point in our store, or the most recent. Meaning, when we go put this on the wall, we should be able to put it on the wall, whether it's consolidated with the old drawer, or if it's sold out of our inventory now, and someone purchased it, that's still on the wall in a drawer. We don't need to add these pieces to that drawer because that one's sold out. So when we go put that drawer on the wall, it'll be okay, because when we go pick the new order, the inventory sheets or the order sheets don't update the remarks. They stick with whatever remarks were kept at when the order was placed. Meaning, if we have drawer 694, we have two 1x10 plates inside that drawer. If we add 10 1x10 tiles to our inventory, and we're in the process of adding those in a new drawer, it sells. Now when we click the verify, it's not going to tell us, in theory, that we have them in that drawer. So we're now going to take these 10 new ones, go put them on the wall, and when we go to pick the order, it's still going to tell us to go to drawer 694 for those two that are there. Now that drawer is empty, and we still have 10 in a different spot in our inventory. So it shouldn't actually matter. I know that was a really long explanation. I apologize for that. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. But we don't close the store. It could cause a problem. If any of you have problems, please let us know in the description below. But we haven't closed our store when we're adding parts or putting parts away. So we'll see if that becomes a problem at some point. And it wouldn't be a fun problem to have, because then we'd have to go find the part on the wall wherever it went. And that was the last question, but we do have a suggestion from Satoshi, who says, you guys should import your BrickLink orders to BrickStock when you're picking it. It's extremely easy to pick your orders because you can organize it by color, remark, etc. Yes, so right now at the moment, we just have our order sheet, sorted by remark, so we can go through and pick from drawer 1 to drawer 3280 or whatever we're at now. And we go in order by drawer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through. In BrickStock, what you can do, and Chris from Great Brick Lab, and I'll link his channel down below. Really great guy, great BrickLink store, great system of picking everything. Brilliant. He's thought it out really, really well. But go check out him and support his channel. He's really great. But it says, Satoshi is talking about importing all the things to BrickStock. Chris, and it might be what Satoshi's talking about, was Chris takes all his orders for the day, puts them inside of BrickStock, and then he goes and picks all of his orders at once. And he just, when he sees something on the form, he knows this is for, I think he uses like L6, and that's a drawer on his cart when he picks the orders. And he actually takes it and puts into L6, and L6 is one customer. L7 might be a different customer, for example. But very interesting how he does that. We don't do that at the moment. We pick each order one at a time since we have such a relatively small store. We're not walking around a warehouse as he is. He has a much larger store. So we haven't imported to BrickStock before, but it is an idea, and it's something we've been looking at and thinking about and figuring out how we can rearrange and reorganize our picking process. But thank you, Satoshi. Thank you, Chris. Again, I'll link his channel in the description below. And thank you to everyone who asked questions this week. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video right now. Thank you. This is a ton of thank yous, I guess, today. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, as always, please put them in the comments below. We'll hopefully answer them next week in BrickSide Chat. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button. We do videos at least 3 days a week. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't checked out our Patreon or Discord, that'll be linked below as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.